Hi, good morning. Thanks for joining in. Hi, everyone. Uh, can any one of you confirm is the video audible, video voice properly audible to you all? Hi, can you please type in the comments? Thank you. Very good morning. Hi, audible. Thank you. Video clearly visible. Great. Thank you. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Morning. Hi. Thank you. We'll wait for 1-2 minutes more for people to join in, and then probably we can start. Meanwhile, I would request you all to share the invite link with your friends, colleagues, so that we could have a decent number of people joining in. Sounds cool? Thanks, Raghav. I am your fan too. Thank you so much. Okay, we have around 13 people who have joined. Let's wait for at least 20-25 to join in, and then we can start. Meanwhile, guys, before we start, let's do a small poll. Yeah, let's see what you guys are up to. I am putting in a poll for you. Question is, this. Can you see the poll, guys? Please vote. Let's see what kind of audience is there. Superb initiative. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. All the best for the initiative. Thank you so much. Okay. We have 50% voting. Very nice. 60% FMCG. Going good. Please vote. Thank you. Entry. Okay. Amazing. 25 viewers. Okay, great. Please vote, guys. Thank you, Nitish. Tuti, thank you so much. So we have around 53% people from FMCG audience. Okay. FMCG. Okay. Great. 55% people. So it's almost 50-50 audience. Both a combination of 52%, combination of FMCG and new. Great. Great. Okay. Nice initiative. Thank you so much, bhai. Thank you. 25 people joining in. 52. Okay. Let's wait for a minute and then we'll begin. FMCG sales. Great. Sales. Okay. Since you guys are voting and there's a almost 45-50% audience who is into the entry phase and some of the experienced people are also in, let's do one thing. Let's cover some things before taking on your questions. I'm sure you must have prepared some questions. I'll try to take one or two questions. But before going to that, let's try to understand briefly, especially for those who are trying to enter into the industry, right? And what is required to enter into the industry, why you should enter this industry. So, if you know, as you already know, FMCG is a fast moving industry, right? But as the name suggests, just the category is not fast moving. It is the kind of exposure that you will get into this industry. It's completely dynamic. You will find yourself doing 5 to 10 things at a time, and you will struggle. You will try to understand how to manage them, right? So the exposure that you will get in this industry is completely to the next level, guys. So that is one thing. Second is the growth opportunities that you will see in the FMCG industry. I was literally telling you, I've seen people in 6, 7, 8 years going up to the ladder, becoming vice presidents, becoming CEOs of the company. Uh, Now, the journey could differ from the type of college you have passed out, or the kind of exposure, or the number of companies, or the kind of companies you're working in. The timeline might vary, but I have seen people growing from bottom to the top, not more than 10 years, 11 years. So, the growth opportunities are humongous, and the packages that you get are one of the highest into the industry, right? So second point was that. And what are the skills that are required? Like, right, almost 40% are freshers, joiners. Plus, there are people who are into the FMCG but want to grow, right? So often an FMCG interview question that what is your strength? So this question probably correlates with that. I think the first and the core skill that is there if you want to enter into the industry or grow into the industry is the persuasion power, right? Need to have the correct persuasion power to convince people, to show them the right path, maybe to sell your products also. The second skill that I would say is utmost of importance is that you should be in control of the things, right? As I said, you will be handling 5 to 10 different things at a time, and handling such multitasking skills is of utmost importance, right? So you must have that. And the last and the most important, and that is, I believe, is taught in every MBA college, is the networking, because FMCG is all about networking. When you're working with distributors, you should have control network over the area distributors with the retailers. When you're working with your team, you should have good networking combination coordination with your team. Plus, LinkedIn, of course, which is the source of your network, which is everything for creating a strong network for yourself. So I think these three skills, if you have, you'll do great into the FMCG world. And if you're thinking to enter it, think properly before entering, because if you don't feel that this is the right fit, then probably you should look for an alternative roles. But if you think that this is exactly who you are, then I think this is the best industry for you. And giving you an example about myself itself, when I passed out from my MBA, I started in ITC, and I still remember I went in formal shoes. I was all set that I'll do Gaga all over ITC and do something extraordinarily on the first day itself. And I remember the ASM of the ASM of the zone told me to go with a cigarette salesman into the market, do some market working, and then we'll discuss. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. How to travel? Shall I go in a car or what to do? And he was like, no, no, he'll go on a moped and you accompany him. Okay. And what usually happens is the cigarette salesman is a ready stock salesman. So he carries all the bundles of cigarette on his bike. So to my luck, he carried everything on the back of his bike. So there was no space to sit. On the first day itself, I walked around 2 to 5 to 6 kilometers, I think. He was traveling on a bike, stopping on the outlets, and I had to walk literally to the entire area. So as soon as I used to reach the outlet, he used to finish it off and move to the next outlet. So it was that tiring, that cumbersome on the first day itself. And at the same time, as I said, approach matters. I asked another trainee who was with me. So I think there is someone from Shriram Finance Management Trainee. Great. Correct. Cash business. Rightly said Nitish. Ready stock is basically you carry the stock within yourself, go to the outlet, sell them the stock, take the cash, and then move to the next outlet. That is right, Nitish. Thank you. Uh, so that is the model that happened. So what we did was, one second, I think Nitish has been restricted. Okay. So what used to happen is, I did my entire day like that. I was so damn tired. And when I came back, I asked one of the other trainees, what did you do? So, so he went to, what he said was very surprising. So it's a mindset thing also. So he said that he went to a zone wherein a railway station was nearby, and he literally slept 30 minutes on one of the places to sit, and then he did the market and came back. So that changed my perspective completely, right, guys? So you need to understand that you need to be very flexible, open-minded when you enter into the industry. It might feel very tough, but after 10 days, 15 days, or maybe 1 or 2 months, things start smoothing down, right? Someone has same experience when I was in foods. Great, great, great. But you went on a scooty. That is very nice. I was walking, so in formal shoes, so you can imagine my pain. So it was a complete disaster for me. Yeah, but I am glad that some of you could relate. Amazing. Uh, the second biggest challenge that I have seen in FMCG world is, and I am sure you all are experienced here, would correlate is many a times you will feel that the projects or the problem statements that are given to you are very open-ended, right? So mostly it's a one-liner statement and you need to figure out. So initially I used to get in a lot of trouble trying to understand what to do. For example, For example, what used to happen, for example, you get a project that you need to benchmark the competition. And what exactly to do in that? Do I need to understand their margin structure? Do I need to understand why they are, what they are doing better than us, right? So these things, what happens is these things can become quite open-ended. So you need to have a mix of both the mindsets when you are working in FMCG. First mindset I would say is the analytical skills that you need to develop, right? So you need to have data crunching skills, try to understand what the data is looking into, try to gain 50 to 60 different insights from a single point of source, right? What all could get I could get from that single data source. Okay. So first thing, be very analytical with your thought process. And the second thing is on persuasion. When once you have gained the insights from those analytical skills, you should have the persuasion power to convince your team or convince your supervisors, leaders that this is what you're thinking and this is the data backing for it, and how we'll proceed with this. This is the clear path that I'm thinking on. So I believe a combination of these two things would do a great uh, career benefit to you, right? To have those two things that I believe would really be helpful for you. Okay. Uh, Another point that I wanted to discuss with you all is, but before discussing, I want you to put it in the chat. Okay. I am texting the message. You just answer. Okay. What do you say? How does your manager think? Or how does your manager evaluate you on a day-to-day basis, on a monthly basis? Is it just the numbers? Is it something else? What is your perspective, guys? I can see almost 30, 40 people in the session. It would be great if you can say, how does your particular manager evaluate you on a weekly, monthly basis? Just the numbers or something else? And since 60% of you have voted for that you guys are from FMCG, please let me know. Is it just the numbers, or is it some KPIs? Is it some uh, behavioral patterns that he sees? Accountability, okay. Accountability for outcomes, accountability for KPIs. That's a very good point. Okay. Any other behavioral aspect that you see? Okay. So I'll tell you my perspective on this, and meanwhile, you guys can definitely put in the comments your perspectives, your experiences. Uh, what I feel is that number one, we'll do it in a priority wise way, and that I believe would be a good thing. Bosses evaluate on multiple things, and that does not happen in a yearly way. Numbers, but infrastructure building, okay, very good. Initiatives, very nice, okay. Now we are getting some good points. Behavior with respect to the stakeholders, okay. Those are some very good points. KPIs and process, okay, very nice. 60% people are from FMCG and they think that it is mostly numbers, okay. So let's try to put it down into top five things, okay? And let's try to understand if everything fits into those five things. And I believe that we should daily see those five things before starting our day. And then probably we'll be able to do growth drivers. Very nice. Okay. And if we see those five things on a daily basis and we are content that we have done those five things on a daily basis, I think we'll be able to achieve the required success coverage. That's a very good point. So let's try to break it down into technical and non-technical things. Okay. Two things that I see in technical and three things I would say in non-technical part. Try to cover these five things, and I would say that you will be thriving in your sales career. First two things in technical is number one, numbers, that most of you has put had rightly put in uh, right, volume and coverage. Number one is numbers. Numbers is sales value, sales volume, right? That is number one, numbers. Second thing is distribution. So what comes in distribution? First, coverage, definitely coverage. Your KPIs, right? Growth KPIs, deliverables, correct. Second is your KPIs. Third thing that comes in distribution is your stakeholders, which is your infra, as some of you mentioned. Your distributors 100% should be there. Your team should be intact, right? Uh, so third one is your infra. So I think these two in technical part, if you handle, first is sales, numbers, second is distribution. In distribution, what I said is your KPIs, your infra. If your team is intact, your infra is there completely, and you are handling the KPIs, I think these two, if you do, you will do phenomenally well in your technical part. Now, the bosses don't just evaluate the technicals, they evaluate the non-technical part as well, right? So, what comes in non-technical part? First and foremost was the initiatives part that some of you mentioned. So, what comes in initiatives? Are you taking something, doing something additional which others are not doing? Is there a particular drive that you are doing? Are you trying to build a particular brand in your territory? So, initiatives or projects that you do on a day-to-day basis is the next thing that I believe would be a great help for all of you, right? So, initiatives is the first part that I would say non-technical. Second part that I would say in non-technicals is your behavior. What I mean by behavior, the way you approach the tough decisions. Sometimes numbers are not happening. You are under high pressure from your management. How do you handle, how do you pursue that pressure with your team? Do you take it out on the same intensity, or do you try to explain them, or do you try to see what is the problem and try to resolve it, right? So I would say the fourth and the most critical thing is behavior. Behavior with your team members, behavior with your distributors, behavior with your manager, behavior with your skip level manager, right? That I believe is the fourth critical thing. And the fifth and the last thing that I would say really matters is your perception, especially in FMC. How do you create a perception? Combination of all the four things that I mentioned: behaving properly, trying to achieve your numbers, focusing on your KPIs, distribution game, right? Having the right positive mindset. Do not be too aggressive, do not be too lethal, but at the same time, you cannot be too slow, sluggish. You have to maintain that calm as well as maintain that intensity as well. So I think if you remember these five things on a daily basis, you can do wonders in your career. Approach towards achieving the growth drivers and your mindset towards achieving them. Perfectly summarized. Very nice, Jatin. Thank you so much. Great, guys. Okay, I think we have discussed sufficiently lot of things. Uh, Now I have a small gift for all of you. If you want that, I'll put it in the. I'll put it on a display. So just put in your comments. Do you want to see top 4 to 5 FMCG common questions that are asked on a very frequent basis, and some of the example solutions for them, answers, how to answer them in your interview, how to tackle those questions? Would you like to see that? Please type in yes in the comments if you want to see. I'll show you some of the very common interview questions, 3 to 4, and their solutions, answers as well. If you are interested, please type in yes if you want to see top FMCG interview questions and how to tackle them, how to answer them. Type in yes in the comments, please. Okay. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 yeses. Can I get at least 10 yeses to see show you that? Okay. We are getting some responses. I think most of the people are interested in the 100%. Are amazing. By the way, till the time I show it, this is the super profile that is there. Uh, I hope most of you have already got the book FMCG Blueprint. I think it is a very, very concise, small, quick glance book that will help you get your FMCG basics covered, right? So if you have not bought it, you can get it from Super Profile FMCG Blueprint book. It's a digital copy here. You can get it from Amazon, a hard copy, but I believe you should get a digital copy. It is easy to read. Keep it in your mobile whenever you get time. Try reading it multiple times. And there is a second book called Crack Any FMCG Interview Like a Pro. What I've done in this is whenever I take any interviews, whenever my manager takes any interviews, whatever interview questions I have seen. See, I have given a lot of interviews in my career. In 4 to 5 years, I have cracked major FMCG company interviews. Right? I cracked ITC, I cracked Perfetti, I have cracked Himalaya, I have cracked Marico, I have cracked Kenvue, Johnson and Johnson. For your reference, I have cracked Flipkart, I have cracked major FMCG company interviews, right? And there's a pattern in most of the interviews. It is not something uh, very, very technical or something very, very different. It is very similar interview questions. And trust me, guys, if you put this, download this guide of FMCG interview questions and you slightly modify them with your experience. So, for example, I have put in my experience of MP. You slightly modify it with your particular experience, say, for example, from Delhi, right, from Haryana, any geography you worked in, and prepare these questions. 9 out of 10 times, I'm sure that you'll be able to crack the interview. And once you get used to it, it takes me just 5 to 10 minutes to prepare for any company interview. And I'm that confident that I am able to crack it. So I think you will be also able to. So if you've not checked it out, do check it out. Get a copy for yourself and get this moving very fast. It will help you in your career, right? These two things are must have for you guys. Put it in your mobile, download it, keep reading it whenever you have time, keep preparing it. So I think it will help you. Okay, let's go ahead with the questions that I've prepared. I think it will be helpful for some of you. Uh, is my screen visible? Can any one of you confirm in the chat box? Is the questions visible? Questions visible, screen visible. Are you able to see the doc? Yes, great. Thanks, Vipul. Thanks for confirming. First question, if you are new to FMCG, right? Or if you are joining in, why do you want to work in FMCGs? Mostly people face this challenge when they are new, when they are joining in into the industry. Why do you want to join FMCG sales? And most of the people say that because I like meeting new people, I like interacting, I like uh, maybe I like to go into the market and get my hands dirty. These are the common answers that you have seen. But as I said, FMCG is all about numbers game, है ना? So probable answer, or you can modify it slightly, is FMCG sales gives you a front row access to the market. I have read that India has over 1.3 million retail outlets. 90% of them are traditional kiranas. Imagine the execution muscle it takes to manage that. I want to be a part of an industry where I can track my efforts daily, whether it's placing an SKU, cracking any order, or helping move dead stock. The adrenaline of seeing one new SKU rotate in 20 outlets in a week, that's real business. What do you think? The first answer that I said, yeah, I want to get my hands dirty, will help you crack the interview, or this answer will help you crack the interview? So, this is the game. You need to understand that you have to modify your answers, right? You have to correct your answers, you have to refine your answers. You guys know everything. I know that most of you are working in the industry, you know everything already, but how you make it portrayed with the interviewer makes the difference. So that is something that you need to understand, right? Okay, next question is, how would you sell a shampoo? Now replace shampoo with any other product. And I had got this question in ITC itself. Okay. How would you sell a shampoo in a rural retailer who already stocks a competitor brand? Right. How will you basically remove the competitor from the market, or how will you replace the competitor in outlet? It's a common question that you people face. Now I've seen people answering it like, I will tell them the scheme, I will tell the outlet owner about the qualities of the product, right? But it is a very generic answer to say, guys. Okay, what is the better way to answer it, or how we can do it better is, firstly, I'll go in a systematic way. I'll try to identify his concern. Is it because of the fear of rotation, or is it he's expecting a higher margin, or is it because he has to put in more efforts in selling it, right? So answer it that I'll try to understand the concern of the customer, right? Second thing that you'll do is, if he sells you around 10 units of competitor weekly, I'll position my brand with a scheme and a better margin and a POSM. POSM is point of sales merchandise, which is a visibility component. So what I'll do is, I'll tell him, I told him the same thing in the ITC interview also. What I said, that POSM acts as a silent salesman, right? So you do not need to put an effort to sell your products. You do not need to explain the new product to the competition. My POSM will act as a silent salesman for you. I'll provide you better margins. I'll enroll you in our programs, and I'll try to solve your problem of rotation that you said initially. If you answer this question in an interview, think that how the interviewer will think about you. And this is for all the experienced people. The common thing, right? Then the second set of question could be, I am still reluctant in handling it. The next answer would be, I'll push for trial orders for 6 to 8 sachets, smaller SKUs, less risk. So you can answer it, put in lower quantity of stocks in the outlet, right? Then give an example. In the past internship, in my past company, when I was working in, for example, when I was working in Dabur or any other company, I improved the rural visibility by 25% in 30 days by getting 2 racks per village and nudging the top 10 retailers with the new brand. Just replace these keywords with your particular territory, with your particular category, and you will be able to prepare your answers for any interview. Okay. Guys, you guys are liking these questions? Tell me just particularly what is your feedback? How are the answers in the comments? Liking these questions, liking the answers, the way the answers have been prepared. Just wanted to understand your honest feedback on this. What is your view? Please put in your views in the comment. Just liking it. Thank you. Can others also confirm? You guys feel that this is a better way to answer in your interviews? This will help you. It is more structured, probably. It includes FMCG terminologies, it includes numbers, it includes your experience. Thank you, Jatin. Thanks for answering. Okay. Now I know that for experienced people, no one will ask you what is primary versus secondary sales, right? But there are freshers also. And when I see freshers, I remember when I was in Symbiosis and I was giving the interview for Bisleri. Okay. And I'll tell you this funny incident. My friend who got, and we cracked all the GDPI, everything, and we're in the last round of interview. Okay. First round of interview also I cracked. Thank you, Arshad. Thank you. And telling you about my Bisleri experience, it was the last round of interview. My friend got selected. I was not able to crack it. And it was an MBA interview. I was very fresher. I was new to the industry. So he asked me specifically, what is primary, secondary, and tertiary sales, right? And we all know what is primary sales, right? We all know what is secondary sales. We know the path. Thank you. Yeah. We'll discuss complex questions as well in the upcoming live sessions. We'll discuss on our ROIs. We'll take the complex parts. Uh, Plus, we'll try to take on some case studies also going forward. But this is just to narrate to you that get your basics covered in a better way, right? Yeah. So mostly I've seen people answering basic questions in such a way that it is not in a way that you should answer it to, right? So here is an example. Primary sales is what the company sells to the distributors, say 5 lakh of stock monthly. Secondary is what the distributor sells to the retailers. Ideally, 5 lakh should convert to 6 to 7 lakh in market if rotation is healthy. Okay. If secondary drops below 70%, stockpiling begins. In my college simulation, we found that overstocking by just 20% led to expiry loss of 15,000 in 2 months for a beauty brand. So I always believe secondary is the real KPI. This is how you answer. Okay. So this is something that we should definitely look into. Next point is last question, simple but yet important. Tell us about a time you convinced someone, not necessarily in sales, right? And you'll see these kind of situation based questions in a lot of e-commerce companies. I have faced similar questions in Flipkart interviews, Amazon interviews, and they want a more detailed answer, but this is a summarized answer. You can detail it as per your experience. Okay. So is the answer. During my college fest, we needed 50,000 in sponsorship. One brand had rejected us, citing poor visibility. I did a quick audit of past event football, 2,500 plus students, 12 campus clubs, an average screen time of 4 minutes per visitor. I repackaged this data, pitched again, and they not only came on boarded, but 30,000 plus gave 100 trials of sampling. The moment taught me influence comes from preparation and not pressure. Okay. So now this is a non-technical answer, but similarly, a technical question could also come to you. Like, give me an example when you convince someone in your sales team or in your team to do something that they are not aligned with, right? And you can frame the same answer in a similar way, right? So, for example, you have a senior TSE in your team, or you have a senior salesman in your team, or you have a senior manager in your team who is not convinced with your particular thought process. How will you convince him, right? So, try to understand his pain point. Is it that he's not confident on the approach that you're taking in? Is it is it that he has some apprehension with the process that you're following for achieving the same objectives? Try to understand that, do some data crunching, put in the facts in front of him, and then try to convince him. See, always in sales, we have learned one thing, that any position, any circumstance should be a win-win. Okay? So it is my last thing and last suggestion to you all. Whenever you are trying to convince, persuade, do not create a situation of win-lose. Okay? In which you are winning and the other person is losing. We always have to create a situation of win-win. Okay? Win-win, win-lose, lose-lose, lose-win. These are four situations that we try to create. Sometimes it's win-lose, but majority of the times, try to make it or persuade the person in front of you with a win-win situation. And this should be your interview answer as well. It's a very good keyword to keep in. Okay? So I hope guys you like this interview questions, suggestions. Okay, now we still have 5 minutes left. So if you have any questions for me, anything you would like to me to answer, we'll take that. I'll try to answer one or two or three questions max. If you have anything specific that you want to answer, me to answer, please put it in the comment box and I'll try to pick it up and then we'll close. Any questions, anything, do let me know in the comments. Anything you would like me to answer, anything you'd like me to know, you guys to tell about, anywhere you guys are stuck, in finding it difficult to move on, let me know. I can answer that. Any question, guys? Anything you have in mind? Put it up for you. Very helpful. Can you tell what sales officer? Sure. So I believe that sales officers are the. So firstly, I'll tell you what I believe. I believe that a salesman is the backbone of any FMCG. So a salesman is someone who works into the market, gets orders for you, pushes your product. But to handle those salesmen, we need leaders who would handle particular salesman, distributor, company KPIs in sales. This is the sales officer. Sales officer basically reports to mostly sales manager, who then reports to a BSM, branch sales manager, or RSM. So this is a typical hierarchy. Sales officer handles end-to-end KPIs for the company, coordinates with the off-roll team, right? Handles the numbers, convinces the distributors to do primary, convinces the salesman off-roll team to do secondary, drives company KPIs into the market, ensures coverage, end-to-end sales being handled by the sales officer. They are very critical, very important, and yeah, I think that answers your questions. Any other questions? Okay, or two more. Okay. If a product is not necessarily in at all in rural belt, okay, it's an urban, we are selling it in urban metros or something like that. Got it? How to penetrate it more as desired by the manager and achieve numbers. Okay, understood. So in rural, there is a concept called seeding. Okay, what I used to do is in Perfetti, we had a concept of van seeding. So whatever products that do not sell in rural or had very limited visibility availability in rural, we used to take at least 2 to 3 months of van drives. We used to load all the stocks in a van, go to the utmost deep pockets of rural areas, play games with the area with the person, put in some speakers, play some games, right? Like Tambola or some activities we used to do, and then reward them, reward the consumers around that village. Post that, we used to visit the biggest wholesaler of that village, convince them of the product, tell them that we have done an activity here, it has a good response, people were enjoying it, free samples. Would you like to buy? So try to create a GTM similar to this in your own way. Not necessarily you can do van seeding, you can do any other seeding activity. But it all starts in rural with seeding, and then slowly you build in your network. So I think this is something that we do. Okay. We have a question from Jatin. Cracking an interview isn't a problem. Great, you have a confidence to crack the interview, but how do you build your CV? Fantastic, and actually get the interview call. If you're working at a startup and want to transition into a brand, oh, fantastic. That's a very good question, I think, Jatin. And I think a lot of people are facing that problem in the transition, right? So, Jatin, first thing is, if you are transitioning into an FMCG company from an alternate industry or in a similar industry also, try to understand the hierarchy first. Okay, as I said, DBSR or salesman reports to sales officers reports to ASMs reports to RSMs reports to BM or zonal heads report to the CEOs or COOs. This is the typical hierarchy. Where exactly do you want to land when you are joining or trying to enter into an FMCG world is the first call that you need to take. Are you confident that, say, for example, you have an experience in startups for 10 years, but are you confident that you would be able to crack an RSM interview? Maybe no. But do you think that an ASM interview would be something that you would be able to do in? Maybe yes, apply in ASM rules, right? First thing. Second thing is try to modify your answers, right? Your CV pointers as in numbers, because this is what FMCG people look for. And the third most important thing, uh, once your CV is built, is try to build your network such that people put in your referral. So one of my friends who entered into Tata Consumers from an alternate industry was able to join just because he had very good referrals that he had built via LinkedIn, and then they put in a good word, and then he was able to crack the interview once interview call came. So it's a combination of all, Jatin. You need to build in strong connections with your peers, with people on LinkedIn, with people working in different companies. So I think that would be really a big helpful thing for you. And then to build your CV, I think another important point is try to do some internships also. Okay. I know you might not be having some time. So first is an alternative is to do some internship in any FMCG company, be it small, big, but an internship puts in definitely some weight. If you're not able to crack internships, maybe because of time constraints or any other thing, second alternative could be try to do some project. Okay, try to connect with some of the sales officers, some of the managers, and try to get onboarded on a project so that you can do a weekly thing, week offs where you can work on that and put it in your CV. I think you will be able to get some small pointers, and then once you have those points in your CV, you can definitely crack the interview. Okay. Hi, Suraj. I want to switch my role. I don't want to particularly work in sales, but guess, can you suggest a division if I work there, I get a similar understanding of sales or work in strategy side? Okay, that's a very good question, Sarthak. I have done a similar thing, although I want to work in sales. I want to continue working in sales, but there is a division. There is sales support in any FMCG company, every FMCG company, and it is a combination of sales and strategy. Okay. In sales support, what we do is we handle trade marketing, we handle GTM, okay, we handle even some parts of sales also, right? So sales strategy uh, a specific role is not there in FMCG, but sales support, if you see, there is trade marketing roles, there is sales development, sales transformation, there is capability transformation roles, and there is GTM roles. if you could transition into any of these roles, I think you would be able to switch your role as well as continue to be in sales, but not directly. I hope that answers. Uh, Ajitesh. Okay. Productivity not necessarily a rural belt. How to penetrate? I have answered that. Thank you. What are for you the skills needed to succeed in FMCG? I think I have answered that, but thank you so much. I think the top three skills that are required to crack an FMCG role is first, persuasion. You need to have strong persuasion skills, convincing skills with logic, with sense, creating a win-win situation, as I said. So first skill is persuasion. Second skill I believe is behavior. Under stress, under pressure, under tough times, how do you behave? How do you handle situations like this? Uh, is something that you should have the right mindset for. And the third and the most critical thing to do is the go-getter attitude. You need to achieve your targets, you need to think on the go, you need to do multiple things at a time, 10, 20 things at a time, and you should not put yourself in pressure. You should have the go-getter attitude to get those things done fast, think on your toes, be very fast, quick. I think if you have a combination of these three things, go-getter attitude with multitasking approach, persuasion skills, and behavioral patterns, wherein you could control yourself into pressure situations, you could behave properly with your team members. A combination of these three would help you definitely achieve all the goals, all the success in your life. Jatin, thank you so much. Looking forward for more sessions. Thank you, Jatin. Thank you so much. Do convey this with your colleagues, peers in your company, so that we could have more people from next session. We could have a more detailed session. We could answer, I would like to answer further more questions from you guys. Okay, so please request you to help us grow this community together. Sarthak, thank you. Suraj, thank you so much. Bye, thank you for joining. Okay, I think we should get going. All the questions have been answered. I hope you guys enjoyed the session. Do give a like to this video on YouTube, please. There are 18 people there. Do like this, give a like to this video on YouTube. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. And the last thing is, please share it with your network. It should be helpful for everyone. Thank you so much. I'll be stopping the live stream. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Do like, share, and comment. Thank you guys. Bye.